next question we're going to look at the distributive property. You'll already know that 3 multiplied by 4 plus 5 equals 3 multiplied by 4 and 3 multiplied by 5. Also, 3 multiplied by 4 plus 5 equals 3 multiplied by 9, which is 27. This illustrates the distributive property of multiplication over addition. Basically, it doesn't matter if you separate them out and put multiply in between both of them, and it doesn't matter if you add first or multiply second. Okay? Take the addition of the numbers 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay? If we combine them using different pairs, it can be seen that 3 plus 4 plus 5 is equal to 3 plus 4 plus 5. Since both add up to 12, notice that the numbers combined using different pairs without changing the result. Definition. Okay, so this is the distributive property up on top, and this here is the associative property. An operation is said to be associative if A by that operation with B first, then the result with the operation of C is the same as B with the operation with C, the answer to that with the operation of A. So it doesn't matter which way you do. An example would be adding 2 plus 3, then adding it to 4, or instead adding 3 plus 4 first, which is 7, then adding on 2. Both answers are going to get you 9. 5 plus 4 equals 9. Okay, so this is the example of the the associative property. Okay, so this is associative, addition is associative, but division isn't. You see, 12 divided by 6 is 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 12 divided by 6 divided by 2 is 3, and that equals 4. So for division it doesn't matter which one you do first, but for addition it doesn't. Okay, let's look at the following example. Okay, 4a. Okay, investigate if A intersection B union C is equal to A intersection B A intersection C. Okay, so let's draw out a diagram for this first and foremost. Okay, so diagrams usually make the whole process a bit easier. Okay, here we go. Now, what's common to all three? 3 is the first one I see. I'll put 3 in there, and that's the only one I see. Now, A intersection B is going to be 3, 6, 3 and 6, so there's a 6 in here. A intersection C, so 6 and 3 are off our list currently. Next one is going to be A intersection C, so we 5, no, 8 and 10 for A intersection C. 8 and 10 are going to go in here. Now remember your stops, your dots, because this means they're not cardinal numbers. Next one is, okay, 8 and 10. Next one, let's see what's in A on its own. It's going to be 1, 2, and 12. Let's see what's on. B, and it's B and C. B intersection C is going to be 5. Put that in here. C is completely empty, so there's nothing in here now. And finally, B has 4 on its own. Now that we have this done, what we got to figure out is what B union C is. B union C is obviously in the green part here. Okay, so it's going to be B union C. B union C is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. And now we have to get A intersection this. So what numbers here do they have out of these numbers, which ones are also inside of A? So we know that the ones that are inside of A are going to be these ones here, which is going to be 3, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, next one. 12. And that there is 8. Okay, next one. A intersection B. Now look at the way the signs move. A gets intersected with B first, and it gets intersected with C second. Okay, so we're basically breaking it up into two sets. Okay, A intersection B being the first one, and the red one of A intersection C. And okay, so we're replacing the intersection sign with the union sign. Okay, this is very evidence of the distributive property. We're multiplying first instead of adding, so we're going to check out if this is distributive. Okay, so what we're going to do here first and foremost is find out what A intersection B is. So A intersection B is simply going to be 6 and 3. So you can see 6 and 3 in there, or 3 and 6. The next one here is going to be A intersection C. It's going to be this part here, which is going to be 3, 8 and 10. 10. And now what we're going to do is we're going to join them both together. So what we're going to get is A intersection B union A intersection C, and what we're going to find out, it's going to be 3, 6, 8 and 10. It's exactly the same as A intersection B union C. So what we're going to learn from this is basically that intersection of sets is distributive over union. Okay, so intersection of sets is just distributive over union, and what this can mean is that we can do the intersection first and the union second, or we can do the union first and the intersection second. So hence they work both ways. Okay, let's do this. Okay, in a survey 100 people were asked if they had been on a sun holiday or a skiing holiday in the previous year. 60 had been on sun holiday, 15 had been on a skiing holiday, and 30 had been on neither. Okay, so that put the 30 on the outside. Copy the Venn diagram, insert the appropriate numbers in the brackets. Okay, it doesn't say anything about skiing holiday only. Okay, so we know there's 100 people in total, so the full answer is 100. So let's do what we usually do, put down X in the middle. 60 have been on sun holiday, so that means 60 minus X in here, because when you add 60 minus X plus X together you get 60, and the skiing holiday is going to be 15 minus X. Now you know that if they're on a sun, so the sun union the skiing, and so people who've been on both either a sun or a skiing holiday, that has to add up to 70 people. There's 70 people in here because there's 30 outside. So what we know is 60 minus X plus 15 minus X, all of this has to equal 70. So add 60 plus 15 together, you're going to get 75. 75 minus X equals 70. So this means that X equals 5. So let's go back in and rub this out. So X equals 5. This makes this one here 55. And makes this other side here 10. There we go. So we'll just check our answer here. 55, 5, 10 and 30. 55, 5, 10 and 30. Correct. So we're on to the next question there. Next question. In the given Venn diagram, the union is 80, A is 40, B is 50. Everything that's outside X union, everything outside A union B complement is Y. What's the maximum number of X? So to experiment with this, what we need to do is we need to just put in a number that will put in a number and figure out what could happen. So the biggest, A intersection B. B has 50, A has 40. Imagine 40 people did both A and B. This would leave 0 in here and would leave 10 in 50. Okay? And this would mean that all of this together has to add up to 80. So it's going to be 40 plus 10 plus Y equals 80. And therefore Y must be equal to 30. Okay? So the maximum value of X is 40. Okay? And when this happens, Y is 30. Okay, so when X equals 40, Y equals 30. Now let's imagine the polar opposite. Let's imagine that we have no intersection. So instead of, nobody does A and B. So what this means is that X could be 0. This means 40 people do A only, 50 people do B only. Okay? Now this doesn't work because 40 plus 50 is bigger than 80. Okay? So what we have to realize is that it's limited. So what we gotta do is we gotta write down an equation, okay? And the equation is going to be this. Okay, so 40 plus X and 50. So what we do is so the minimum value of X is, what we can see is that when X is large, Y is also large. So what we can do is we can try put Y equal to 0. So if we if we were to increase the value of Y, for instance, okay, or decrease the value of X. So let's say we put X is equal to 20, okay? If X was 20, that'd make A only 20, B only 30, and then all this once again has to add up to 80. So 20 plus 20 plus 30. So that's going to be 70 plus Y equals 80. So therefore Y equals 10. So remember, that's X equals 20. Y would then be equal to 10. So what we're noticing, the trend is that X and Y go down together. Okay. So if we make X lower, we also make Y lower. So let's make Y really low. Okay, so let's put Y equal to 0. Because remember, Y can't be a negative number. Y will reach 0 before X reaches 0. So let's put Y equal to 0. And let's see what happens now. So we're going to have this 40 minus X in here. And we're going to have 50 minus X in here. And all of this has to be equal to 80. Because Y equals 0. Okay. So we get is 40 minus, and this Y is going to be 0. So we get 40 minus X plus X plus 50 minus X, and this has to equal 80 because there's 80 people in the full thing. So we're going to get as 90 minus X equals 80. Therefore the minimum value of X is 10. So X equals 10. What is the maximum value of Y? Remember, as X goes up, so does Y. So the maximum value of X also gives you the maximum value of Y. The maximum value of Y will be 30. Okay, 30. Okay, next part. Find the value of X when Y equals 4. So, when Y equals 4, what we gotta do is we put in Y equals 4. And if Y equals 4, that means that A union B must equal 76, because 76 plus 4 equals 80. So A union B must equal 76. Once again, put in X. So it's going to be 40 minus X. This one here is going to be 50 minus X. So we get is 40 minus X plus X plus 50 minus X equals 76. 90 minus X, 40 plus 50 is 90, equals 76. X therefore is equal to 14. Okay, so 14. And as checked, we know that all these are correct. Next one. In the given Venn diagram, the cardinal number of U, everything inside U is small u, everything inside of A is small a, everything inside of B is small b. A intersection B is C, and everything outside of A union B or A union B complement is D. Express U in terms of A, B, C, and D. U is everything. So the number inside this is going to be A. So it's going to be A minus C is going to be here. B minus C is going to be in here because you got to take in the intersections into account, and D. So it's going to be A minus C, which is this area in here, plus C, which is this area in here, plus B minus C, which is this area in here, plus D. Now we add all these together, we're going to get A plus B minus C plus D. Okay, so it's going to be A plus B minus C plus D. So we're correct on the first one. Express D in terms of U, A, B, and C. So what we got to do is we got to get D on its own. So imagine D just wants to be on its own. So all the other ones go onto the other side, and then they change sign. So therefore, D is going to be U minus A minus B plus C. U minus A minus B plus C. Okay, so we're correct there as well. Now, if C equals B, what can you say about the sets A and B? Now, if C equals B, well, that will mean it's basically B, C is going to be the same as B. So what we can do is we can just replace all the C's with B's. Have B in here. This is going to be A minus B here. And we know that this here, B minus B, is going to be 0. So we can say is that nobody does B only. Might be one answer. So we can say that B, everybody in B fits inside of A. So this means that B is a subset of A. So B is a subset of A. Okay? So you can see that B is a subset of A. Basically, everybody who does B does A. Because there is no B only, so that means B is a subset of A. Now remember, this subset's sort of like a fried egg. Basically, if this is A on the outside, and A has all the people in A here, and this is B here, all the people are in B, this basically means that everybody who does B also does A. Basically, B is inside of A. So you can see that all of B is stuck inside of A. Okay. If B is greater than A, what is the maximum value of C? So B is greater than A. So let's see what happens here. Okay. So B is greater than A. Now, that's going to be A minus C. It's going to be B minus C. Now, B is bigger than A. This means that this number here, which is in green, is bigger than the number in blue. Okay? The maximum value of C basically means everything. What we could do is C is at its biggest when one of these numbers empties out. So if A was 0, if anybody who did A only is 0, this means that C would be a much bigger number. An example would be, if you were to write out an example would be just do it real numbers. If you're a bit confused, try it out with real numbers, okay? Because real numbers help you picture the question, okay? So if you imagine, okay, we can sort of rub this out now. We actually don't need this anymore. Okay. So if you could imagine basically your two Venn diagrams here as shown, and your rectangle on the outside. Okay, so what could happen here is basically, imagine that B is bigger than A. So basically B, let's call B 20 people. Okay, so B is 20 people, A is 10 people. Okay, and C is in the middle. Now, the maximum value of C, okay, the maximum value of overlap is 10. Okay, everybody in A turns up to be enter C. So this means that our value is A. So C could be therefore equal to A because all our people go in here. So maximum value of C, C equals A. And there it is, A is the answer, okay? Next question. A number of people are asked which of the three papers, the Journal, the News, the Tribune, they had bought the previous week. Some of the results are shown in the Venn diagram on the right. Copy and complete the Venn diagram below, given that 20 people bought the news. If 20 people bought the news, then 2 plus 4 plus x plus whatever this is has to add up to 20. So, let's do this in green, okay? And we're looking for what is in here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to say 20 people minus 2 minus 4 minus x. And that's what the green part's equal to. So it's going to be 14 minus x. Okay? So that's the green part used up. 14 minus x. Next part. 23 people bought the journal. So 23 people bought the journal, which would mean that all of this will have to add up to 23. Okay, so all this red part here has to add up to 23. I can't really see how to use that just yet. 10 people bought the Journal and the Tribune. 10 people bought the Journal and the Tribune. Journal and the Tribune, which is this part here, will have to be 10. So this part makes this part 6. Okay, so I've used this part and we've used this part. 8 people bought the Tribune only. And if 8 people bought the Tribune only, this will put this at 8. What we can do next is we can find out how many people bought the Journal only. To find out how many people bought the Journal only, so we can find out how many people bought the Journal only, which is this part here, represented in purple. We know that 23 people bought the Journal, so it's going to be 23 minus 2 minus 4 minus 6. And that's going to be 11 people. Okay, so there's 11 people here. Next part. And now we've used up the last piece of information, the 23 people who bought the journal. So all pieces of information are now used. Given that there are 40 people in the survey who bought the Tribune or the journal or both. Okay, so what this means is when you add all this together, it equals 40. Okay, find the value of x. So all we have to do is say 11 plus 6 plus 8 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8. Sorry, 11 plus 6 plus 8 plus 2 plus 4 plus x equals 40. So what we're going to get here is 17 plus 8 plus 6 is 31 plus x equals 40. X is going to be equal to 9. Okay, x is 9. So that's the second last question now. Last question. Which of the following is true or false? 6 is an element of everything that's inside of A that's not inside of B. We're going to go for false because 6 is inside of B. Okay. The cardinal number of A is 2. That is also going to be false because A has 1, 2, 3 numbers. Okay, so the cardinal number of A is actually 3. Next one, the cardinal number of A union B is 2. Cardinal number of A union B is 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's false as well. And finally, the cardinal number of A union B complement everything that's outside of A union B is 2. that's going to be true. It's going to be this one and this one, which is going to be true. So we have false, 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 and true. Number 4 is the only one that is true, so that's fair enough. Okay, next part. 6b. In the given Venn diagram, U is equal to 50, A is 24, B is B, A intersection B is 8, and A union B complement is G. Find the value, what's the value of G when B is 30? So if B is 30, that means that this has to be 22 plus 8. 8 is in here, which leaves 16 in here. All of these added together had to give you 50. So therefore what we're going to have is 16 plus 8 plus 22 plus G equals 50. So let's add them together. 16 plus 8 plus 22 is 46. 46 plus G equals 50. Therefore G has to be equal to 4. And we see the first answer is G equals 4. Okay, next one. What is the maximum value of G? So let's experiment around with this. Okay, to find a maximum value we need to know what happens to the variables. There's two variables. B is a variable and G is a variable. Okay, the last time B equals 22, G was equal to 4. Now let's either higher or lower the value of B. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to put in B equals 20. Something very easy, okay? So B equals 20. So if B is equal to 20, 8 plus 12 is 20. And now I'm going to find out what G is. So 16 plus 8 plus 12 plus G has to be equal to 50. So I'm going to get 24. So I'm going to get 36 plus G equals 50. G equals 14, okay? So 16 plus 8 plus 12. Okay? Now, what we've learned is that if I lower the value of B, the value of G goes up. Okay? So, what I need to happen is, I need to find the maximum value of G, I need to have B at its lowest. Okay, so B has to be as low as it can go. Okay, so what I need to do is find out how low I can make B. Now, B has a guaranteed 8 people in it. Because there's 8 people here, I'm not allowed to change the 8. So I'm going to say B equals 8. Now if B equals 8, it's going down further. I'm expecting G to go further up, okay? So it's going to be 16 plus 8 plus 0 plus G equals 50. 24 plus G equals 50. G equals 26. So I'm saying the maximum value of G is 26. Okay, so we're going to have a look at this now. 26. Okay, so we're in business. Okay, and what is the minimum value of G? The minimum value of B, we just did that, it's 8. Okay, what's the maximum value of B? Now to get the maximum value of B, what we got to do is we got to get rid of G altogether. Remember, the smaller G gets, the bigger B gets. So we're going to have to put G equals 0 down. Okay, so we're really going to have to get rid of the G. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to say G equals 0. Okay, and we don't know the value of B. So the value of B is just going to be B minus 8 here. Okay, but G is 0. So 16 plus 8 plus B minus 8, all of this has to be equal to 50. So we're going to get 16 plus B equals 50. B therefore must be 34. Maximum value of B must be 34. Okay. Value of B, 34. Okay, perfect.